been thinking about all of the agendas which are
Oh, Jesus Christ. What in the fuck is going on here? Love, hate, LGBTQ, black, white, attraction to youth, incest, raw meat, blood, Jews, Israel, Holocaust, Islam, Muslims, vaccines, work welfare, X400L kindergarten? Wait, what?
going on right now, especially in the US, Canada, and the European Union, Australia, New Zealand. I've never been to the last two countries, but from what I've heard, it's exactly the same there. And that makes sense, seeing as these countries are controlled by the same people. You can easily tell what the agendas are based on what we are allowed to talk about, and that's what I'm going to illustrate today. It's going to be interesting for me also to actually see this. I'm going to paint what we are allowed to talk about in green and what we are not allowed to talk about in orange, and I also have yellow for what we are sort of allowed to talk about. I will explain it. Firstly, we have LGBTQ, homosexuals, gays, lesbians, whatever you want to call them. It's all a mental illness, a biochemical illness, which does make you mentally ill. And transgender people, a very severe mental illness. You are absolutely allowed to say that you love these people, for sure. The government would love it in those specific countries. You can say that you like them. You can be sort of neutral, pretty much always about any topic almost. Except if they are extremely pushing it, then they always want you to say that you in some way like it or respect these people. But you're absolutely not allowed to say that you hate them. And this is very interesting about the free speech that we have in these countries that I mentioned. A lot of people would say that they have free speech, but in reality, you have an incredibly strong push from these societies to talk about these certain topics in a certain way, as it is with this example. You can say that you like them, love them, respect them, blah, 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 but as soon as you say that you in any way dislike gay people, then people look at you, what? That's hate speech. You're not allowed to say that. And as I explained in the previous video, of course, it's not actual hate. I just put love and hate because that's what people always use. These terms are something that I don't even agree with, but it's the best way to illustrate it. As I said, if you're happy and healthy, you don't actually give a fuck about any of these people. I never think about them, except if I'm confronted with it, and that's what you do as a slavery. Then we have black and white people. You can say that Black Lives Matter. Absolutely, any race can say this. You cannot say that white lives matter or even that all lives matter. And I'm not saying that there's necessarily a push for black people, even though there for sure is. It's more so that other races are being promoted and that the white people are being suppressed. There's really an anti-white agenda, and that's very clear. It's fine to be pro-black people. I recently saw this film called Damsel. I was watching myself, but I just saw it being played. And at the end, there's this kingdom of white people. I suppose that it was trying to show us how white people used to live in these kingdoms with a king and queen. Of course, it's sort of still going on, not so much openly anymore. That's how it used to be in a lot of places. And then there were these wives for this prince, from what I understand, who were brought to him so that they get married. And they brought, oh my God, actually, I just realized something. There was even more symbolism in it because the white girl, this girl from Stranger Things, she was thrown into the hole.
What is this shit on his arm? He has like this weird brown crusty shit on his arm.
To be eaten by this dragon. I didn't realize this before. The white one was killed off essentially, and at least that's what I tried. And the black one was there with the prince, and then there was also an Asian.
Yeah, did he fuck up his arm or something? Yeah, there's a big thing here that looks like a wound, and then there's this big line here. I wonder if he got into a fight with his girlfriend and got hurt.
Asian girl was brought to the prince so that they get married. They are completely trying to replace white people, and this was just symbolically showing it to you. When have there ever been black and Asian girls brought to the white prince in human history so that they get married and create race-mixed children, black babies, black people?
Oh my God, this guy is just fucking unhinged. What a whack job.
People would have been the slaves of the white people in the white kingdoms. They are completely trying to even twist the history, and this is interesting because they are generally allowing it to replace white people in all kinds of historical movies, but when it comes to replacing black people, that's never allowed. It's always the other way around. Again, it's more so an anti-white agenda. Also, when it comes to looks, you can say that black don't crack, or however they say. What they mean by that is that the black skin doesn't wrinkle as quickly, which isn't necessarily true, but whatever, that's what a lot of people believe. You could more so say that about Asians. But you can't say anything good about the way white people look. For example, black people, especially the women, try to straighten out their hair so that it looks more like European hair, but you're not allowed to mention anything about the hair of black people. A lot of black people...
Dude, white girls try to get tans, and they also get lip fillers and Brazilian butt lifts. Which again, thick lips, tan skin, and big butts, that's a bit more of a black thing.
Have hair which looks like pubic hair on their head, but you would be called a super hateful racist for pointing out the obvious. Everybody is thinking...
Oh my god. He's saying black people have pubes on their fucking head. Bro, you're fucking bald, dude. Like, this guy's wearing a wig and he's making fun of black people for having pubes on their head. CDG.
It, but the people are not allowed to say it. You can't say that white people have hair which is at the very least desired by a lot of people. People also try to make their skin lighter and so on. But you are allowed to say anything you want about how great black people are. It's a very strong agenda. Attraction to youth, that's what I've talked about a lot. You can absolutely hate people who are attracted to youth and fertility, but you're in no way allowed to say anything close to loving it. Obviously, you're not even allowed to say that you anyway endorse it. Humans in general are attracted to health and fertility, which is what we see in the youth. More so today because the body deteriorates, as I explained in the other video.
God.
Whereas in nature, you still age, but the difference is not as severe between the so-called ages. This is why you will see men and women being attracted to so-called teenagers, young adults. Women don't talk about it as much. You will always hear about men being attracted to teenagers, but women also are. An example of this is Katy Perry. She's already in her 30s or something. She was hitting on a 15-year-old guy. Nobody said anything about it. Whereas if a man would hit on a 15-year-old girl, even if it's a celebrity, then he would be called a monster. He would most likely lose his so-called career. It would be an absolute disaster. A woman does it, nothing. This is a different topic of men and women. I will probably make a separate video about this. You could have also put this here, but it's a longer topic as to what women can get away with. Point being, you can absolutely hate, you can say that you should castrate guys who are into youth. Not the children in any way, actual young women who have already hit puberty, simply because it may be illegal in some countries. There was actually a case recently in Louisiana, a state in the US, where a guy was sentenced to life in prison and castration for impregnating a 14-year-old girl, and she was called a child in the articles. She's not a child by any definition of the word.
No, she would be a child, and in some states, they're allowed to mandate chemical... It's not really chemical castration. What it is hormone-suppressing drugs, and it's to prevent them from having sexual attraction to children, which, if you're going to let these people out, I wouldn't be against that.
Word. Children cannot get pregnant. It's biologically impossible, but this is part of the agenda. They call young women children.
Dude, this guy is just absolutely fucking unhinged. I can't wait until the fucking police catch this fucker and he's just put away.
So that others then can call him a pedophile, and then of course you start hating him. Everybody is applauding them for wanting to castrate him. He simply found a young woman attractive, and that's why you want to castrate him. If he actually raped her, he was pretty old and probably not attractive. I doubt that she wanted to have sex with him. Then that's a different topic. Punish him, and that's your own system. But we hate whoever about it, seeing as it's a huge taboo, as I already talked about. There's really not much more that I will add to it. Again, no free speech whatsoever. Everybody's gonna absolutely destroy you if you in any way say that it's maybe fine to procreate, or that it used to be fine. If you believe in the Bible, maybe some Christians among themselves will say, all right, that's how it used to be with Adam and Eve. That's about it.
Adam and Eve weren't related. Like, I guess the assumption is Adam and Eve created humanity, so there would have had to have been incest, but I don't think anybody really thought through that. It's just a stupid mythological creation story.
But overall, it's absolutely fine to hate them, to want to imprison them, and so on. Very clear agenda. That's why it has been outlawed in any sense. Almost any society goes to.
Oh, here we
in
go.
Japan, they eat raw shark heart in some restaurants. It would also be fine. It's absolutely more than fine to love the Jews, to be supportive towards Israel right now, especially. Hating them, no. It's so bad that in a lot of countries you will actually go to prison for hating Jews. Even if you say that you don't like them in some way, if you say that you don't believe in the Holocaust, you really strongly need to even promote the Jews. It's a very strong agenda. Again, no free speech, because if we could openly talk about them just like it is about other people, then there would be no agenda with the Jews. But seeing as we are only allowed to talk about them as if we love them, respect them, and so on, then we can see that there's an agenda. You can say that you hate or love white people, Asians, or at least, and especially when it comes to the war right now with Palestine and everything in the past also, and they don't even have a very long past, as you know. When it comes to Islam and Muslims, it's kind of yellow also, because you can for sure, in these countries, say that you hate Muslims.
What is the thesis of this video? I don't even know what point he's trying to make. I'm going to skip to the kindergarten part, because...
A slave, then you're going to attack anybody who doesn't want to, and that is school and kindergarten. When it comes to your children...
Oh, school. I thought that was like an X or something. That's the S, that's the C. He wrote the H where it looked like a 4.
Children. In some places, it's maybe okay to say that you want to homeschool your children, which is still a form of school.
Okay, Sverige is still retarded. CDG donate tellers, bro eats rotten jar meat. He has no thesis. Yeah. I think I'm probably looking too deep into it. Thanks for the donation, CDG.